Hello, trading is closed on November 6th, 2024. We'll do our disclaimer first, go over our calls, make our predictions. It's my trading plan for tomorrow, which is November 7th, 2024. Remember, my calls can be wrong, trade at your own risk. I might be able to watch the market part of the day tomorrow, but I have personal business and most likely won't make any trades. I've had personal business all week, and the market always knows when that happens and makes its biggest moves during those times. Look for the pattern with the early low, which is this, and tomorrow should also have the early low. We said if we stopped here and took out these lows early, we could justify a sizable correction before the rally resumed. Obviously, that never happened, and according to the rules, that idea is killed before the open. That's why we said if this rally takes out a target we've had since the end of last month, 58.39.42, we'll cross it off the list. We now have only 4 lower targets for all of calendar year 2024. None of them are close, and I suspect that by the time the year's end, none of them will be seen. So we typically get about 2 or 3 unfilled targets every year. With under 2 months left to go, we have 4. That's not really so unusual. We have a new target for tomorrow, 59.13.84. Unless we gap up smartly, that'll be my call. But of course, after a rally like this, gapping up is always possible. This is just a reminder of what we said. Had I used the mixed signals rules, they certainly would have worked, but I didn't. Well, during the day, MEJT said this last move up is false, gives us a target, 59.13.84. That gives us the call. If we gap up smartly, the time is off the table, but not the price. If we don't, that's what I think we'll see. If you look at the recycle from way back here and the numbers under these bars, we now have DeMarc's 11 bars of countdown of a sequential sell and 11 bars of countdown of a combo sell, but the last 3 bars don't have to obey all the rules, and if you count these as 2, you could actually make this bar 13. These things don't have to go to completion, and they don't even have to work every time. They just work a significant number of times to pay attention to them. If this rally continues 2 more days, which hasn't happened yet, the odds are we'll be overextended past the upper Bollinger Band and trigger DeMarc's signals in alignment. So we don't know if that'll happen or not, but if the rally continues 2 days, I think the risk will go up. Don't have to be the next 2 days. Well, this is a major league trend line, goes back to 2020. You connect this to here and here and here, and you get all these delightful hits. And now we have a hit right on the line. So you all know the rules. You gap over the line or the line wins. If the rally is to continue without interruption, we need to gap over the line, which essentially means gapping over today's high. Certainly isn't impossible. But if we can't do that, I think any move past the line tomorrow is not going to stick. So this is quite a move. Shouldn't be too hard to gap over it if we're going to go higher without interruption, but be aware that the breadth with this all-time high is nowhere near the breadth we had when prices were lower, meaning fewer stocks are carrying the weight of the advance. Eventually, eventually that has to give way, but that doesn't mean we can't go higher first. We've had this long-term target of 61, 55, 67. And doesn't mean we have to go there in a straight line. Doesn't mean we have to go up tomorrow. But I think it's a reasonable target for this leg, or for this leg of the rally. Doesn't mean you have to stop there. Well, tomorrow's pattern has the early low regardless of where we open. There's a lower MEJT target. Unless we gap up some rally, the rules call for it to print. The FOMC announcement is tomorrow afternoon. It's usually followed by wide, multi-directional moves, and I just don't try to predict them. I'm practically always flat going into the announcement, and even if I were going to be around all day tomorrow, which I won't, it's pretty common for me not to make any trades on those days. It's just too much risk for me. We've rallied to a significant trend line and a straight line move. If we don't gap over the trend line any rally past, it shouldn't stag. Now, gapping up isn't impossible at all. Now, today's rally needs confirmation by trading past the close. That hasn't happened, but it sure is hard to see the whole bull move in here. Regardless of what happens tomorrow, I think we're going higher. However, today's VIX printed a bar completely under its lower Bollinger Band. It's a sign there's too much bullishness, or more specifically, too little bearishness around for us to go a lot higher in terms of time before we get a correction of some sort. When you're printing a bar on the VIX completely under the lower Bollinger Band, that's really an extreme. VIX measures how much premium people are willing to pay for puts, and when they're not willing to pay much of a premium for puts, that's when longs have to be cautious, because those players are usually wrong. Anyway, it's the pattern with the early low tomorrow. We have a lower target. It isn't a heck of a lot lower in percentage terms, but there it is. If we gap up, the time is off the table, but not the price. If we don't gap up, I think that's going to print. And that's today's call.